Herm and Schrader on the Dirty Mo Media platform from the middle of America in St. Louis, Missouri starts right now.
Two of us are in St. Louis this week.
Are we back to normal after there was a lot going on there over the last month?
There was a lot going on. You even looked like Rick Mass last week. That's how much things were weird.
You know what? I want to thank Rick Mass. Thank you, Rick Mass. Rick Mass and Kenny Schrader. NASCAR needs to have both of them at the Hall of Fame and just call it Story Night. And you guys would sell the place out, Kenny.
No, I like Rick. Rick was always, he was always fun at the racetrack. He was just normal.
Yeah.
Well, normal if you live in Rockbridge, Bath, Virginia.
Yeah. And Rick Mass always told us, I traded a cow for my first race car. I'm like, Rick, seriously?
He sold the cow. He sold the cow and got $60, was it, Dietz, he said? $60.
Yeah.
And put that towards the race.
Yeah, like between 55 and 60, something like that.
Yeah, I didn't actually trade the cow. Because I asked him, I said, did you take the cow? Because when you went to the races to watch, did you take the cow with you in case you thought you were going to trade? He said, I didn't take the cow. So I think he really loved the cow, though. It was a little scary when he talks about the cow.
Okay, moving forward. Thank you, Rick Mass, so much. Very thankful to you. Been friends forever, and he has given me some great advice. Okay, guys, I just have a feeling this is going to be a good, long show. The Daytona 500. This is Monday, everybody, and do not edit this out. They're going to air us on Wednesday, and we just got done with the Daytona 500, Dietz and Kenny, and I'll start like this. My mother, Judy Wallace, gave me a shirt when I was a kid, and the shirt said, I have so many wonderful qualities. It's easy to overlook my few disgusting habits. So, with that said, Kenny Schrader, this is for you. I just checked Jeff Gluck's poll. After 6,000 people, 75% of the people said the Daytona 500 was awesome. I just want to say this, and I'm going to hand it to you, Kenny. The race was very entertaining to me. The elephant in the room of, the stage racing, saving fuel. I'm like, look, if TV would have not showed you they're saving fuel, it would have looked like normal. They've been running around 3 wide, 11 deep for 20 years. So if I'm watching the race, I'm like, man, it's Daytona, it's Talladega. But because network has got to show you all this data, now we know they're running around there 60, 70%. So, like I said, that shirt Mama gave me, Kenny, the race to me was kind of like what the Jeff Gluck poll said, except I would go 90-10. I thought the race was full of excitement. What's your take, Kenny?
I enjoyed it. I got to see 90% of it. The only time I was working in the shop and went up to the house for a little bit, but it was on every TV everywhere you went. I thought the pre-race was exciting. I just sensed sitting in the living room or sitting in the shop, I sensed excitement, a lot of it. I got thinking though, like with 30 to go, it's Travis Mears texted me. He said, "Who's going to win?" I said, "Don't know." There's going to be a big wreck, and then it's going to rain, and then somebody's going to win. But fortunately, we didn't have to put up with the rain. But I liked all the pre-race stuff, the hype. I think it was great. I liked the fact that it was sold out. Liked everything about it. You talk about who deserves to win that race. Well, they all deserve to win that race. Anybody that made it through those first 199 laps, it looks like if you're in the top 7 or 8, you got a shot. because you don't know what's going to happen. Neat for Tyler to win it. Elliott's smart because inexperienced, because when he sees him coming, he said, okay, I can try to block, but I'm going to get wrecked. I'm going to get wrecked for sure. So I'll just take what I can get. And then he gets right reared, doesn't even know it's coming, and gets right reared. So I enjoyed everything about it. Thought it was a great race.
So, Dietz, I want to bring you in on this one. NASCAR, in my opinion, saw what Formula One was doing, where in Formula One, the racing's no good. So they bring in superstars. Yeah, I just call it the way I see it, Kenny. The racing's no good in Formula One. So they make an event out of it. NASCAR, for the Daytona 500, they brought in the superstars. I mean, you already got car owner Michael Jordan there, the most famous athlete in the world. But they bring in Kid Rock, John Gruden, who is a very popular coach in football. He's not a coach right now, but he's popular. You bring in John Daly. I agree with Kenny Schrader. The vibe for this Daytona 500 was the biggest I felt from a fan's perspective, in which you claim you're a fan. Did you like the pre-race show? Because I thought it was, like Schrader said, I thought it was out of this world.
As a fan, I don't need any of that stuff. But again, for somebody like my wife that, could care less, she's going to be more entertained because Miranda Lambert's there and all the stuff that's around it. And I guess that needs to be a part of it. The one question I would have, and you and I were talking about it before we went on the air about the fuel saving stuff. And I was like, you put an extra stage in, does that help? But you brought up a point, and I didn't think about this. If you take the stages out, does that eliminate some of that, or is it just baked in now?
No, you're right. If the stages are out, then they don't know what they're doing. It's just fuel mileage race. The stage racing causes this because they know what they're going to. But it's the team's fault. It's like NASCAR, he says, we'll give you the rules. And of course, the teams, we will always exploit the rules. The teams are the ones saying, save fuel. That way, when you come down pit road, we'll have a quicker pit stop. So, hell, they all do it. So then they're all the same. And now it's up to NASCAR to stop this. I'm sure they will. Hey, guys, before there's so much to say, we need to remind everybody, Tyler Reddick is your Daytona 500 champion. Kenny, I was shocked. Let's do a little bit about that last corner win, and then we'll get into all the pre-race. But Kenny, were you shocked? I was, that Tyler Reddick was able to keep that momentum through the middle of 3 and 4 and pull out in the middle of the corner and still have that much speed. That was amazing to me.
It looked like nitrous. I mean, it was like, wow. You talk about a run. Now, he had a run. Yes, it was a lot of speed that he came with. I mean, as I said, there was no stopping it. He was going to go. You need to get out of his way because he was coming way too fast to try to block.
And I was impressed that Chase Elliott, I mean, he's not a kid anymore. He's a man, obviously, but I was impressed that he did not turn left like the young kids do. In other words, here comes Tyler Reddick on the inside. The young kids would have turned left, and they all would have wrecked. Of course, Chase ends up getting wrecked.
A little bit farther. Yeah, that's what I said. Chase was experienced enough to know, it's like, oh, not today. It's not, it's not my day today because he's coming too fast, and there's nothing I can do about that without, making the choice to wreck myself to try to keep him from winning. But I'm going to get wrecked. You turn in front of someone coming that fast, there's no way you're not going to get wrecked.
So the race is over, everybody, and they're interviewing the top 10 drivers. And I'm like, why are they in the infield care center? Well, then I realized that top 10 all wrecked.
Yeah.
So the network TV, they're all right outside the infield care center, because when you watch the finish in its full, when they do the replays, the whole damn top 10 wrecked. So they're doing everything from the infield care center. Okay, Kenny and Dietz, look at this. This is the first time this happened. Look at this, guys. 3 pages of notes.
Okay.
Because there's, okay. So Kenny, NASCAR announced 100,000 people in the grandstands, which it looked like it. 50,000 people paid in the infield, for a total of 450,000 for the weekend. I believe them, and I know you glanced over this. I mean, listen, we're trying to start out this year more positive than last year. What do you think of that good look?
I got to had lunch Wednesday with Helton and Drager.
Yeah.
And he was pretty excited about the sold out part, and I said, now I've talked to a couple other tracks where sold out and they still have empty seats. I struggle with that. He said, no, we're sold out. He said, we're sold out. And he went in to explain how some of that works sometimes, but they were sold out, and that was great. We're in, everybody wants to say trouble, sports in trouble. Well, the friggin' world's in trouble, so it's not just our sport, but it was all good. I don't see where we got the problems that everybody's facing, but our sport doesn't have any more problems than other things going on. But it looked good. It was 100%. Great. It was great. It's the way the Daytona 500 should be. It's the way Atlanta ought to be. It's the way all the Cup races ought to be.
NASCAR knows their base now. They changed this year, and the hell yeah, they rocked it. I mean, hey, let's talk about those commercials real quick. Johnny Morris, his commercial is a tribute to the number 3 Earnhardt. That was incredible. Then 2 more guys. Then Fox. I mean, everybody is bragging on Fox. Finally, for once, Fox does a special about Greg Biffle. Jamie McMurray gets very emotional live. And then, they do one with Denny Hamlin losing his father. I really think for fans, guys, to get involved with the drivers, they got to know more about them. I think these specials, guys, I think it gets the fans involved. It's like, oh, I didn't know Denny Hamlin's father passed away. And I think that's good for the sport. Dietz, let's throw that one at you. You're a race fan. Did you like the specials that everybody raved about?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You hate to look at tragedies as drama, but they are. They're stories. The way the season ended for Denny Hamlin with the championship and wanting to win it for his dad, and then, the aftermath of that. And the fans, really until Daytona had not really gotten to hear much from Denny and to see how he was doing. And, we talked about it on the show a couple of weeks ago that he has played up this villain aspect for about the last 5 or 6 years. And we always see it kind of change. It changed with Earnhardt. It changed with Jeff Gordon. It changed with Jimmie Johnson. It's changed with Kyle Busch. I think it's probably going to change with Denny Hamlin this year. And the same thing with Greg Biffle. I mean, I've always said it that when I was growing up and Alan Kowicki and David Allison passed away, these are guys that come into your house for Sunday dinner with your family every Sunday. And you get to know them. And you like some of them better than others, but you love all of them. And they need to be recognized. And I thought they did a good job of doing that. And they needed to.
Yeah, and they need to keep it up, because that's what makes the fans get involved with each one of these drivers. Okay, Kenny. Before we get to the winner, because there's a lot there. There's a lot of good controversy, just good juice about Tyler Reddick, Michael Jordan, the whole deal. I'm going to read this to you, Kenny Schrader. You tell me, this is NASCAR Insights. A few notes on the 2026 Daytona 500. 25 leaders. That is a new record, Kenny. 65 lead changes, second most all time. This one drew my attention right here, this next one. 5 cautions, tied for the fewest cautions in NASCAR history. And believe it or not, since 2005, but still, it had the fewest cautions. Now, they might have been bigger, but that was the fewest cautions this race has had. And I think that's notable for people that say, oh, it's a wreck fest. No, it wasn't. When the wrecks were big, they were big this year.
Yeah, if you were one of them, 20 cars, you probably thought it was a big wreck. But yeah, those guys thought it was a wreck. Keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Okay, no, because this is all about you right here. 37 of 41 cars involved in an accident.
But it wasn't a wreck fest.
Okay, last one, Kenny, and then it's going to be all yours. 15th.
Want it. Okay.
You're going to get it. 15th last lap pass in the Daytona 500. So we've had over 50 Daytona 500, and this was the 15th last lap pass. Okay, out of all that, take it away.
It's a damn good race. Damn good Daytona 500. 25 leaders. 60-something lead changes. Second most ever. 37 of the 41 cars involved in something. You don't know how big it was, but it's something that at the start of the day, they told you, hey, you're going to be involved in a wreck, and you'd be thinking about it all day. When you were out there, it's like, oh, well, but it's not a big one. But no, it's Daytona. I did think of something 30 laps to go before they started breaking off to make the pit stop. So if you don't know anything about racing and you turn on Daytona 500, say, hey, I'll watch this. There's only 30 laps to go. And they're running around there 3 wide, 11 rows deep or whatever. And you're like, this is racing? Isn't somebody faster than somebody else? I mean, it's just, it's formation driving, It's more like formation driving. The way the cars are all so close. I mean, I liked everything about it. It was just amazing. There could have been a lot more wrecks. You see them guys wiggle, I mean, and then still the wrecks are like it started happening at those places now. It's when first, second, or third runs into one another. It's not mid-pack all the time. It's up there at the front, so we can get a lot of them.
What about I've talked to Kurt and Kyle Busch before, and the engineers say that both of those brothers drive on the other side of disaster. In other words, if you and I drive loose, the engineers in NASCAR say that the Busch brothers drive looser than anybody in the sport. So when they were coming off of turn 4 early in the race, did you see Kyle Busch? His car was coming around, and the only thing that saved it is when he rammed back into who was that? But I don't know if you saw that. It was disaster, and they saved it. Yeah.
It's the disaster they avoided. There was a lot of those in the course of the day. There always is at those places. You think we had big stuff there? Wait till we go next week when they run around there 3 wide open, except they're going slower.
And that's another deal. But Atlanta has made a comeback, and we're going to Atlanta next week, everybody. But Atlanta is the comeback track in NASCAR to me, because I remember 10 years ago, it was like they need to shut this racetrack down. And then they built that new facility, that new track. And like you say, we're going slower, but my God, it is. The fans are piling back in there. So, okay, Kenny. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We got some good stuff here, guys. Switching subjects. 2311 wins the Daytona 500. The driver is Tyler Reddick. And by the way, they have 3 cars. So 2311 owner Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin. The winner is Tyler Reddick of the Daytona 500. 8th is Riley Herbst. 10th is Bubba Wallace. So 2311. Okay, now I'm going to set this up for you.
Didn't they run another car?
2.5 months ago. Do they?
Didn't they run another car there? Whose car was this? Whose car was the 67 car?
Yeah, Corey Heim, and he was up front at various
30 to go.
points of the race.
Yeah, was that a 2311 car?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we're on podcast, Deets. You got to say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Deets shakes his head up and down. I got to remind him, we're on Kenny Wallace YouTube. Yes, they saw that, but not on Dirty Mo.
I'll be able to edit that where it sounds.
No, don't edit that. That's good.
But
You gotta shake your head
the
bigger.
67 is a 2311 car, and he ran really good for his first Daytona 500. And I wouldn't be shocked if that car doesn't end up winning a race this year.
Okay, so the elephant in the room, and it's all good. They go to victory lane, and everybody knows this. It'd be a tragedy to not bring it up because it was the biggest story after the race. 2.5 months earlier, Michael Jordan, Denny Hamlin, they're suing Jim France. Okay, we know all that. But the first NASCAR executive in victory lane was Jim France, and he walked right up to Michael Jordan and shook his hand like a man. I loved what Jim France did. Now I know more about Jim France. I've always heard good about him. I know he's quiet. But Kenny, what did you think of those optics? Jim France, he's never in victory lane. It's usually, in our day, Mike Helton or Steve O'Donnell or Steve Phelps. I just don't think I've ever seen Jim France in victory lane, and there he was.
Okay. Now this is, I don't know enough about that trial. I mean, we all know what we think we know, but it's settled, okay? They settled it. Now, I'm sure Jim would have liked to had better on his side. I'm sure Michael would have liked to have been better on his side, but they settled it, and they settled it because it was best for them and it was for the good of the sport. So, hey, when you settle it, that's full speed ahead. Let's worry about our sport. And I think it just shows where Jim's at. I mean, we're okay. We've agreed to this. Let's go forward. And I think it's neat. I've always been I like the heck out of Jim. He's a good guy. He does a hell of a job running the sport. We're lucky he's still involved.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, one more on this, because we always, have to address what the fans are seeing. So in NASCAR, we got this big contingent of media, and they're well respected by everybody. Jenna Fryer, she's with the Associated Press. That's big. Jenna Fryer reports, she goes, oh my. She goes, look at this. Everybody that sued NASCAR won. So Chandler Smith won the truck race. That's Front Row Motorsports. Austin Hill, which is Richard Childress. Now, Richard didn't sue, but he threatened to. Austin Hill won the O'Reilly Auto Parts race. And then, of course, this Tyler Reddick. You don't have to comment on it. I'm just wanting to let everybody know that Jenna Fryer, the media picked up on that after the race. And
yeah, it's a coincidence.
Well, yeah, because I'll tell you this. I know last week Rick and Ken kind of talked about the call, but if anybody thought coming to the white flag that Tyler Reddick was going to win that race,
yeah,
I'll buy him a beer, because I didn't think Bubba Wallace, Corey Heim, any of those guys. I mean, Riley Herbst had the best chance, honestly, of the 2311 cars to win that race. So sometimes I buy into conspiracy theories, but I don't.
Not this time.
Not this time.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty hard to conspiracy theory when you got 41 of them you got to control.
Yeah. Okay, let's have fun. Michael Jordan is like a Deet, straighten me out here. How many NBA championships does Michael Jordan have? 7, 8?
He won 6, but let me tell you one other big thing about Michael Jordan winning that race. Last night was the NBA All-Star game. President Obama was there. All of these retired NBA players. It's on NBC network television. That's a big deal. Michael Jordan's at the Daytona 500. Michael Jordan's won 6 NBA titles, and he held that Daytona 500 trophy no different than he did that NBA title. And you know, a similar thing happened when Dale Jarrett won Daytona 500 the first time in '93. Because Joe Gibbs was only a year or two removed from the Redskins winning the Super Bowl. And I think it just shows what a big deal winning the Daytona 500 is. I think it's right up there with winning the championship.
Kenny, when you see Michael Jordan in person, which I have, it's like, oh my God, this guy is bigger than I thought he was. So they said, Jamie Little did a good job. She says, Michael Jordan, you just won a Daytona 500 ring. And she says, do you know your ring size? He looked in the camera. He goes, size 13. That's big, Kenny. Yeah. So there's a lot of jokes right there, and I know that's why everybody got quiet. All right. We are going to address other stuff in the race because it's the thing to do, everybody. Let's ease up a little bit here. Our partner in crime, Dale Earnhardt Jr. I love the Earnhardts like we all do. We all love the Earnhardts because they love racing. But the tow truck embarrassed Dale Jr. And Dietz is smiling for everybody. He's laughing a little bit. Justin Allgaier goes to throw a block on Denny Hamlin. It goes wrong. He wrecks out. Now, Arby's got some good promo out of this, but the tow truck is going to go through the middle of the infield with Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car, driven by Justin Allgaier. And the tow truck accidentally drops the car. But
I didn't see that.
But Arby's got... Oh, yeah, it was big. But Arby's got a lot of attention. You know, this is the second time that this happened at Kansas, too. And I think Rodney Childers was upset, the 4 car. What's your thoughts on that, Kenny? How do you drop Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car going through the middle of the infield where the motor homes are on both sides?
It's no big it's no big thing. You just wreck the damn thing anyway out on a racetrack. So, you know, it's not like, oh my God, look at this. The tow truck messed this up. A lot of guys, you know, we see it at short tracks all the time. Oh, they get out because they're all aggravated because they wrecked their car, and then they tell the tow truck guys how to hook it up. Well, you just wreck the damn thing. Just drag it off the track, you know. But I mean, it happens. Not usually on national TV like that, but it happens.
These are bits and pieces that I have, everybody. So once again, this is my opinion. I think it's fine. They bring back the hell yeah, and part of that is, you know, lap 3, the racetrack becomes eerily silent. I mean, you could hear everything
on TV.
Huh?
You could see it on TV when they showed it good. Everybody holding up their hand, and TV other than the cars, it was quiet, and it was like, ooh, it was kind of eerie.
Should we keep celebrating Dale Earnhardt every year
Yeah.
for the Daytona 500?
Well, here's what I could tell you. I remember being there in 2011, and they did the same thing because it had been 10 years. And me and a friend of mine were standing down there at the end of the pit lane talking, and we just stopped and we held three fingers up for that lap. I know Dale Jr.'s said, let's kind of move on, and I didn't watch the Fox documentary about 25 years later, but from what I understand, it was kind of how the sport has changed in the last 25 years as far as, more than getting wrapped up in the accident and everything that happened around that. There are other stories. It has been kind of exploding. I didn't feel it had to be done yesterday because it had been 25 years, and it would have been offensive had it not been. But working in television myself, being a producer, is kind of lazy for producers that don't know anything else about NASCAR other than that. There's a lot of other great stories out there that kind of research a little bit and don't go for the easy fruit.
Kenny, I listen, I can't ignore this. You were there the day, you were the first person to Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s car. How do you feel about every year the Daytona 500 comes around, we celebrate Dale Sr.?
He was a big part of our sport, He likes the king. I mean, for some reason, there's only three people at the 7 championships, the king and Jimmie also. But it's what everybody wants to. If they want to celebrate it, have at it. If they don't, it's okay. I mean, a little bit like juniors, like, okay, it's great. We all know you love my daddy, but there's a lot of other stuff going on too. But if they want to do it, have at it, and no problems.
Yeah, good take by both of you. I really like it. Just because I kind of agree with you all. I do agree with you guys. And Kenny, thank you. I love you. And yeah. Okay. Deep breath, everybody. This one caught me off guard. I did not see it coming. Changing subjects, everybody. Jimmie Johnson, our 7-time champion, on the Marty and McGee podcast. So Jimmie Johnson is good, close friends with Marty Smith. Marty used to be with NASCAR. He still is a little bit, but he works for ESPN. And Jimmie Johnson kind of claims Marty as his best friend. Not really, but I mean, they're tight. So Jimmie Johnson, our 7-time champion, says, you know what? This is my last NASCAR Cup race. I like where I'm at in my life. And yeah, I'm going to go to San Diego. I'll leave the door open, but I'm done with Cup. Now, Dietz, was that true? I mean, everybody announced it the day before. I mean, it was everywhere. Then I read something at the end of Sunday night that he's going to run a 4th legacy car. I'm confused. Is Jimmie Johnson retiring or not?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little confusing to me, too. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me that Jimmie wouldn't run at least San Diego, considering, that's where he ran or where he's from. And I saw a lot of that reported from the Maury and McGee show. And I know he said, I may run some truck races or I may run some O'Reilly races, but I don't think it's completely clear. Personally, as a fan, and again, being a Bill Elliott fan, I loved when Bill ran races selfishly after 2003, but at the same time, I didn't, because I knew he was not in really competitive stuff and not doing it every week. You're not at the level that you need to be to do it. So, I mean, if Jimmie's out there having fun, it's his own prerogative. I mean, he could do it as long as Morgan Shepherd did, but I don't know. It's kind of confusing to me why it's being reported, two different ways. If he said it, but
he quit a long time ago.
Should Jimmie Johnson?
He quit when he quit. He quit a long time ago. And I'm a Jimmie Johnson fan.
Me too.
I'm a big Jimmie fan, but he quit when he quit. It was how many years ago now? How many years ago was that?
Oh God, he quit and then he went IndyCar racing 2 years, and then I don't know, there was something in between there. Kenny, that was the quote of the year right there. He quit a long time ago. Should he come run one of our dirt cars? Should Jimmie Johnson come race our dirt cars?
Jimmie should do whatever the hell Jimmie wants to do.
So my take is this. I've asked Jimmie to come on Herm and Schrader, or not Herm and Schrader. I've asked Jimmie Johnson to come on Kenny Conversation, and we haven't quite got it figured out yet. But here's Jimmie Johnson. He's owner of Legacy, and he's looking over there at the guy that hired him, which is Jeff Gordon. So Jeff Gordon and your boss, Rick Hendrick, they hired Jimmie Johnson. And it amazes me that Jimmie, I know Jeff Gordon is Rick Hendrick. I get that. But it just amazes me that there must be some bad blood there somewhere, because it's like he's off. And I think Jimmie Johnson looks over there, and there's Jeff Gordon in his little vest coat pretending to be Rick Hendrick. I love it. And I think Jimmie Johnson wants a little bit of that. I think Jimmie can do more for the sport by playing executive and cheering on, Eric Jones and his drivers. Now, this is just my opinion, okay? I mean it nice. And I agree with you, Kenny. He quit a long time ago. It pains me to see Jimmie run so badly. But I'd like to see Jimmie become an executive like Jeff Gordon. I think he'd do a lot for the sport.
I'm going back to my original thing. I like to see Jimmie do whatever in the hell he wants to do.
And I agree. Listen, we all love Jimmie Johnson. We're just like everybody else. Everybody else is like, what the hell is he doing? And we love Jimmie Johnson. Damn. Okay. Well, that was a big deal. And here we are, everybody, towards the end of this. And do you guys have any more about the Daytona 500?
I just thought it was a great race. There's all kinds of storylines. Every one of those teams has got a storyline. But, bottom line was they had their big wrecks. They had a great finish. No big controversy or somebody is really mad at somebody else for causing this big wreck. It's just good.
Kenny, that's kind of the end of my wrap up right here. And I like what you just said. We cannot forget that NASCAR changed their ways over the wintertime. They put the caution flag in their back pocket this year. All three races, people were wrecking on the last lap. They were trying to wreck. There was a wreck. And NASCAR's like, okay, the wreck is in the infield down by the wall. Let them come around. I really liked that, because sometimes they'll throw the caution at the end. It's like, why'd you throw the caution? The car's not even, it's down by Lake Lloyd.
Conrad Miner stopped in with his kids yesterday, with his boys, and we were watching the last 20 laps. And, it's like, yellow? I said, not necessarily. Hold up. Depends where those cars wound up at. If they're out of the way, they let them run back. Somebody else spun and was in the grass, and they waited, and he got going. He had plenty of time to get going. So, yes, I love seeing that they have maybe changed directions a little bit on that. Now, if we want to change directions a little bit more, let's make a yellow flag not be quite so many laps as it takes. It seems like a yellow takes too long. But what they're doing that was a great change.
Yeah. We have to acknowledge that, everybody. And I think that was an effort made by NASCAR. There was an old saying, Mikey Waltrip would say it on your show, Kenny, on Monday nights. I'll never forget Michael Waltrip saying, back in the day, the races would go forever. And Mikey would say, nothing better than a caution to gather the field up. Well, yeah. I think over the last 20 years, we've overdone it.
Yeah, maybe now you're at a point where with this win and you're in deal, maybe you can eliminate a stage or be a little bit more open to eliminating stages I hate it in short track racing because these guys just sit there and they know there's going to be a caution at lap 75. This is with pavement late models and things of that nature. And the race just stinks because of that. The other thing that I'll say to wrap up my Daytona 500 thing is I don't think Carson Hocevar made many friends this weekend again.
He wrecked all 3 races, even though he was exciting. All 3 races he wrecked out. We love him.
He was going fast when he wrecked.
Boy, those teams love him wrecking their stuff up. Why is that, Kenny?
Because he's going fast. He's going fast. I mean, he was looking good there. Just not ready to go the other day. It won't be another half a dozen races, and we'll be saying, I don't know why in the hell they didn't throw the yellow. Yeah, just remember that.
Kenny, isn't that funny that the fans complained for years? Why'd you throw the caution? Now they don't throw the caution, but I believe it's because Chase Elliott was in the lead, and maybe they wanted the caution thrown.
We got another.
That's my take.
Okay, we got another thing too. They come around to that flag, and however they crossed the line, backwards, upside down, whatever. This is how they finished. They throw that yellow on the back straightaway when they're 3 wide, however many rows deep. And now, even though they have those scoring loops, now we got to figure out exactly where everybody was at. I think it's easier to let them run back around.
Boy,
the entry form,
because
the entry form for that thing, 15th place was $514,000 or something. Is a $31 million purse. Well, I had lunch with Helton. I said, man, I think the first year I ran it, it was 1.2. And look, I got the entry form. It was $1.2 million. Because I texted him back. I said, hey, this whole court thing, and all the settlement and, getting it all done. How far does that go back? He didn't think that was funny. I thought maybe I could get more. Thought I could get more than that $25,000 you paid to run 11th.
That is a look inside Kenny Schrader, everybody. He keeps everything.
Got a lot of useless stuff on his head.
One day, Kenny Schrader had me keep it for about 3 days, and I hid it all because he had gave it to Joyce Standards. Joyce Standards gave it all back to me.
Well, that was my book.
Kenny Schrader's book. Yeah, and Kenny goes, okay, Herman, you're getting ready to have some stuff. Protect it. I put it upstairs in the shop because I was like, no. You have the entry form from that many years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was
1.2.
Okay. Mikey, Mr. Helton. He texted me the other day. I sent it to him. It was $1,277,000, and this year was $31,045,000. 15th place paid $513,921, so $514 grand.
Okay, Same
That's why
subject,
they
but just
wreck.
a little different.
That's why they wreck.
Yeah. Okay. So on that, let me set this scenario up, and both of you should answer this.
And the trophy.
NASCAR was nice trophy. How much do you think that trophy cost?
I don't know. NASCAR was what?
It's a lot.
Yeah.
NASCAR was screwed either way on this finish, and here's why. They wreck coming under the white flag. Let's say they don't throw the caution, but they get around, and Chase Elliott off of turn 2 takes the lead. They throw the caution then, and it makes Chase Elliott the leader. So NASCAR, if they would have thrown the caution, like you said, Kenny, if they would have thrown the caution, that means they determined the winner of the Daytona 500. So you're right, Kenny Schrader. They were in a no.
They did good.
They did good.
They did good.
So there you go, everybody.
They do good a lot. It's just everybody beats on them so bad if it's questionable. They do good.
God,
most of the time. I wouldn't want to sit in that tower and make those calls.
Then you do get into conspiracy theory stuff, and I'm with the Chase Elliott thing. I am glad that they waited, and the cars were out of the way. They needed to let them race back. There's been times where you could look at the I think it was 2007 when Mark Martin and Kevin Harvick were coming back when that wreck was going on in turn 4. Technically, they didn't race back to the flag. If you go by racing back to the flag, Kevin Harvick still wins it. But they threw the caution for a wreck in turn 4 that they didn't need to throw it for. But you can say if they'd thrown it a little bit sooner, Mark Martin won that race. So I'm glad they did it the way that they did it.
Hey, years ago, I got to throw this out. Bill Jr., and it might have been Jim Hunter. They threw a yellow. There was a yellow finish at Talladega, and the fans were all, mad. And Bill Jr. and Hunter left the tower before the very finish, and they had a hat pulled down, the coats up, and they went around in the grandstands in the front of the tower, and they were flipping the tower off too with all the other people. Hey, that's Bill Jr. down there.
Playing the part.
Yeah, they're playing the part.
So as we wind up here, that truck race, I want to go back to that truck race. My God, finally, boys. It was an organic finish, Kenny Schrader. The trucks literally came around under the checkered flag. But what do you think of that?
That's a good finish.
Yeah, I was lucky.
Yeah. I want to know what Tony thought of that. He got out unscathed pretty much, so that was good.
So they don't talk about it much, but when you scroll social media, the media, like a Jeff Gluck, he will give you Tony Stewart's radio. He doesn't give the audio, but he prints it out. And I thought of you. Tony says, I can't even get up the speed under the caution. And they're like, do you want to bring it in and work on it? He goes, I have to. So one of the reasons Tony was in that wreck is because he had to pit to keep, and he said, look, it's all brand new. I give him a big break. But I thought of you, Kenny, as he was hitting the wall there. I feel bad. But
looks like Schrader.
Oh, God. Yeah.
And you had mentioned it, but you got to give it to the trucks and the O'Reilly series. I don't know how many times we've seen them just destroy 35 cars and finish under caution and all this kind of stuff. They didn't really have any big wrecks. They finished under green. I thought those guys did a great job at both of those races.
The ARCA series, too. The ARCA series did not have big wreck. I mean, it was up until the real professionals got out there. We didn't have any big wrecks. But if they didn't pay that $31 million and they didn't give that trophy, now they'd still wreck.
Okay, switching subjects. In the O'Reilly race, over the last 5 years, Austin Hill wins every one of them. Why is he not any more popular than what he is? He did a masterful job. This Austin Hill, Rick Hendrick and Junior Motorsports were 5 car lengths back. They should have passed him, and they couldn't because he blocked them all. Is Austin Hill, why does he not get any more? I mean, this guy is one of the best ever to run the big tracks. What's the deal?
I don't have a clue. I don't know, but he has proven himself at those places to do what a good job he does.
I can tell you.
You're up.
Yeah. What's the deal, Dietz?
Well, I said this last year, and I don't take this as a very lightly. He's as good in those O'Reilly cars at these restrictor plate tracks as Dale Earnhardt was.
Yes, I agree with that.
Period. But here's the problem. He's not a very likable guy. He got in that deal with Martinsville with Sheldon Creed a few years ago, and basically screwed them both up to get into the championship at Phoenix. He turned down, I can't remember who it was last year, but he hooked them hard in the right,
Indianapolis.
In the right rear at Indianapolis. And, he's kind of, I shouldn't say this, he comes across kind of whiny to me, and he just doesn't seem like a very likable person, and I think the fans just can't stand him.
Boy, Dale Sr. wasn't whiny, but I've seen him turn a couple people.
Yeah, but I've said this before.
He was likable.
Have you ever seen, well, except maybe Darrell Waltrip at Reese, but I was going to say, have you ever seen him hook somebody in the right rear? But
oh, yeah.
That didn't look good.
Yeah, that was a pretty big deal. Worked out good for Kyle Petty.
We can keep going, guys. Let's move on to dirt racing after we mention this. I don't think we all zoned in on it, but I did see it mentioned quite a bit around 10 o'clock last night. Everybody went, oh, my God. We didn't hear all the media and TV go, Tyler Reddick has punched his ticket for the playoffs, because now it don't matter. Just because you're the Daytona 500 champion doesn't mean you're in the playoffs now. I like that. I'm going to give my opinion right away. I like it because it's like the good old days. You know, you can win the Daytona 500, and then you can miss the race at Richmond. Winning the Daytona 500 does not mean you're the greatest. It means you won that race. Everybody seemed to like it. That's what Mark Martin wanted. And did you guys feel that, or did it not even matter to you?
I like the new points deal. I like the old points deal. I'm not getting a point fund check at the end of the year. It doesn't matter to me. You know, I think that it was good the way they went back. But I wasn't all against the other deal, so it didn't matter. But
right,
it's just one less thing to talk about. But right. Tyler Reddick is leading points.
He's leading the points. And I saw people doing that too. What's funny is, you know, everybody, when we get close to the end of the year, they're going to go 26 races. We're going to lock in the top 16. And you know what's going to happen? You're going to see more TV. Who's 17th? And at that time, we'll go, my God, we've never focused on the person 17th in the points. But this year we will.
You know what? It's going to change. And when I was growing up, I would, every week, you would see where everybody was in points. I knew where everybody was in points. I knew where my favorite driver was in the points. I knew how far back they were. And in the last 10 or 15 years, I've not even paid attention to it because the points didn't matter. Now it's going to get back to that. It's going to be a years-long championship, and that's the way it should be.
Okay, everybody.
Those other sports. That way we don't have to have a Super Bowl or anything. Or a World Series. We'll just keep points for the year.
But It's racing. That's it. This is not a stick and ball sport. And trying to make NASCAR a stick and ball sport is when you run your World Series or Daytona 500 or Super Bowl as the first race of the year. It's a different deal.
No, I'm just throwing that out. I don't care which way they do it. I like what they went back to is great.
Okay, that is our Daytona 500, and it was loaded. There was a lot, and the reason it was a lot is it just wasn't the Daytona 500. We had the truck race, we had the Xfinity race, we had a lot of pre-race, and
we had to race to get into the Daytona 500. You know, we sent a couple cars home, and that was a story. You know, I mean, one of them didn't just go, I mean, went fast enough, finished high enough, and then got disqualified because it didn't go through inspection. So that's a pretty big deal. You can imagine that kind of payday to a small team. That's devastating. Can you hear the vacuum cleaner?
Yeah, that's a good thing. That adds to the show. Who's running that vacuum cleaner?
I don't know. I'm in here.
By the way,
they didn't run it long.
My wife Kim called your wife to see when Ann is flying to San Francisco in May for the Kyle Petty charity ride. And your wife said she's got her ticket. She's sitting in row 17C. I said, Kim, we're sitting in first class. Why is Ann sitting in row 7? Why didn't she get first class?
She better not. That costs more. You're just sitting there anyway. There's I don't know what airline she's on. I'm sitting on that Honda Goldwing and riding out there.
Well, we want to go with Ann on the commercial airliner because we want to collectively all, you know, your wife, me and Kim, we want to, you know, get to the airport together or to the hotel. So we are gearing up already for the Kyle Petty charity ride, everybody.
For all you fans out there, now you guys know which flight and when Kenny and Herm and their entire families are going to San Francisco. So just bookmark this and it can be a big party to the Kyle Petty charity ride.
Yeah.
I think today you better go out in April. Will send my April.
We start riding in May.
Weird?
May 1st.
Yeah. I think today I will send my check to Morgan Petty. Kenny, you and I, we always buy lunch or something like that for the group. Hey, I think they made the group bigger this year on the Kyle Petty charity ride.
I don't know, but it's something to sure look forward to every year. It is a lot of fun. Most organized event. It's unreal how they can take that many people, how Morgan takes that many people and organizes it down to the fuel stops and everything and the motels. And it's just great. A lot of fun. Raises a lot of money for the camp, which the camp needs as much money as they can get because they do some wonderful things.
Okay, everybody, we're going to wind the show up like this. We got to go dirt racing for a little bit. It's all yours, Kenny Schrader. What happened in dirt racing?
Well, in the late models, it was Nick Hoffman. I mean, I think he won three and one championship, and his cars were in the modified part. We've talked about that. We talked about that last week. The big blocks, very neat to see Stuart Friesen come back from his injuries and win the first night. He was a factor. He missed Friday night and maybe Thursday night. He ran Wednesday and Saturday, but the truck commitments had him screwed up the other two nights. But neat to see him come back from his severe injuries and be able to win. Volusia didn't have the best weather. It was just colder than normal, but they had crowds. They had lots of cars and they had crowds. So it was, I mean, what Dirt and Brian Carter and his whole group have done there is they have really grown that into an event. You know, it's not just a race. And we're talking 4 weeks, 4 weeks of racing down there. It was huge.
I would say dirt car they squeezed every bit out of Volusia they could. You know, I asked Brian Carter, and I don't think he's going to mind me saying this. I said, Brian, who, you know, he owns dirt car. I said, what's your biggest event? He said that Oswego for the center steers is number 1 and Volusia's number 2. Both of them, that Oswego deal, man, the city gets involved, but
we're going back to that this year.
You are? What are you going to do?
Yeah, run the pro stock again, like we did up there when the year you were there.
Oh, man.
But we're going up and running again. Looking forward to it. Got our own schedule, October.
Yeah. Okay, everybody. Here we are. Do we have any jokes?
Of course. Okay. Why don't eggs tell jokes? They might
Something with
crack
the
up.
yolk. Can't crack up. It might crack up.
Okay. What did the big flower say to the little flower?
I don't know.
Hey, bud.
Say it again.
What did the big flower say to the little flower?
What?
Hey, bud.
That's a good one.
Okay. And last one. I went to buy some camouflage pants, but I couldn't find any.
That's a good one.
I hung my jacket in the closet and haven't been able to find it.
That's a good one. Okay, Kenny Schrader.
Are they going to let us come back next week?
Are we in purgatory with dirt racing right now, or where is dirt racing next week during Atlanta? I know we got the Clash on the Coast.
I'm going.
What are you going to do?
Missouri. Springfield, Missouri.
They're racing
Valentine.
next week.
Yes. Well, yeah, weather permitting, but
well, let
next
me look.
week.
Let me look at the weather.
Next week, the World Outlaw Late Miles are at Hendry County down in Florida. IMCA stuff is Northwest Florida. USCS is at Milton, Florida. Lucas Oil is at Alltech.
When is Jerry going to run that race at Springfield? Is it Saturday?
Saturday.
He needs to move it to Friday. The temperature looks good.
Friday, it only changes 20 degrees between Friday and Saturday. It does here too.
We got
from 70 to 50.
It looks Springfield, Missouri next week looks great, except for on the day of the race. 30% chance of rain, but we will ask the racing gods.
Yeah, just move the weather.
Okay, everybody. As we always say, Herm and Schrader on the Kenny Wallace YouTube show or on Dale Jr.'s Dirty Mo Media podcast. So as you stay in Daytona for a couple more days, you decide to drive home, check us out, and respond right here. Kenny, what else?
I think that's it. Looking forward to Atlanta race. It'll be exciting. Those races are action-packed. And it'll be different this year too, because they got how much more power?
I don't know. I just know it's at North Wilkesboro is all I know. They need to spin the tires. I don't know if they need to go faster at Atlanta.
Yeah, I think that was just the short tracks or the tracks under a mile that they added the horsepower. But you will have the pavement is getting older again in Atlanta, so they're going to be even more unstable.
Okay, everybody. Until the next Herm and Schrader show, we'll see you all next time. Goodbye, everybody.